And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar right here on BearcatJournal.com. Go visit our friends at Hail Mary's. They're in Cheviot, right on Harrison Avenue. They're in the Dora District. You can go from bar to bar with your drinks, or you can just hang out at Hail Mary's. They've got a 27 TV setup, a 9-screen video wall. They have the DirecTV Sports package, so they'll have all the games available, and Cincy Sports will always be on the 9-screen video wall. Brand new walk-in cooler, brand new draft lines, and of course, ice cold Cincy Light on tap in a 32.8 degree frosted glass. All right, Aaron, let's get to it. Didn't get a chance to get a show in yesterday, so we're here on Friday night to give you a show for your weekend as you roll into Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day weekend to all. It is got the fence done. Aaron got mostly done, but enough that we could let the dogs out, and the dogs are having the best day of their lives. They are just sprinting.
Hopefully that makes things. Hopefully it makes things easier for us without them
just let them out,
causing a ruckus.
Unfortunately, yesterday the Bearcats fall to West Virginia 10-3. I think that was the final 10-3. That was the last I saw it. 10-3 in the quarterfinals of the Big 12 tournament. West Virginia then gets trounced today by Arizona 12-1. So the Mountaineers, the 1 seed, are out of the tournament. But all in all, Aaron, it was look. I think it's fair to say West Virginia has Cincinnati's number in baseball. They handled them pretty easily in Morgantown. They handled them pretty easily again yesterday in the second round of the Big 12 tournament. But I know this has been a topic of debate, topic of conversation, if anything. I am perfectly okay with Coach Bishop going with his number 1 and number 2 pitchers in that Texas Tech game. That was a one-run game.
Yeah.
That was a one-run game that if you lose, you're sweating all the way through Monday. If you win, I think you feel pretty good about your chances for an at-large selection, regardless of what happens against West Virginia the next day. I think you roll the dice and just say, hey, we got to get across the finish line here, and we got to beat Texas Tech, and we got to do that come hell or high water. I have no problem throwing your 1 and 2 in that game.
Absolutely not. And I guess kind of on the flip side of that, against West Virginia, used 7 pitchers. So clearly, yes, West Virginia has your number. That all said, you did what you needed to do in this tournament, and you live to fight another day. I would think Selection Monday, when they announce the where you end up. I've seen the baseball bracketologists have Cincinnati and Xavier in the same little group, 2 and 3. So we'll see if that's how it ends up shaking down. But you won the game that you had to win, and I'm with you. You absolutely you use your best pitchers in that situation, bar none.
And I think it also goes to and this is something that I'm sure will get talked about a lot in the offseason. I know Jeff Gentle and Tim Adams were discussing it today a little bit on Twitter. Got to continue developing the arms and having a deeper pitching staff for when you get into these situations. It's not that Cincinnati's pitching staff is bad. It's just not at a level where they have 3 or 4 high-level options that they can throw out. So that's just as the program continues to develop under Jordan Bishop, that's one of the things that needs, continued development. And I think it was Jeff that said it today. It also makes you pretty attractive in the transfer portal that, look, we're going to play winning baseball. We're going to play fun baseball. And if we get another 2 or 3 really high level arms, then this thing can really go up another level. So I love what they're doing. I do think there is more room for improvement. I think Coach Bishop would 100% agree with that, but I think this thing is still rolling along. I think we will hear their names called Monday, and then we'll get a couple days to talk about the baseball team getting ready to be the first program since Cincinnati has moved to the Big 12 to be an NCAA tournament team.
You beat me to that punch. I was going to say he's clearly had the most success out of any of the major sports anyway that I can think of off the top of my head. I don't know about the Olympic sports, but yeah, any of the major sports, he's in a different stratosphere currently.
Well, I think the key is, Aaron, like they've been able, when in those high leverage situations, to get wins. And we have not seen football and basketball yet be able to do that. That, football was this close to bowl eligible and couldn't get that win. Basketball was 1 or 2 games going the other way from probably being an NCAA tournament team. Given what we saw make the tournament,
yeah,
if they hold serve on 1 or 2 more games, they would have been in, but they didn't. And Bishop has gotten his team to play better in those high leverage situations. I think that's undeniable at this point.
Absolutely. Agreed.
What else do you want to get to? Zach Caleros, the Tom Brady of the Canadian Football League, is back, running it back, trying to get his 6th CFL championship. Good for Zach, man.
Yeah, they add him for another year, so he'll be playing through the 26th season. He just, I don't want to compare him to a cockroach, but he does not go away. He is just living. Yeah. CFL, let's go.
And then here we'll switch it over. We've got some news in the college football world, and I'm gonna let you take this part away, but I've got an overarching thought here on what we're seeing over the past week and a half or so in college athletics.
So I guess it's Brandon Marcello and John Talty of CBS Sports reporting that Big Ten, SEC, and Ted Cruz, how Donald Trump's College Sports Commission plan was abruptly halted. In this article on CBS Sports, the Presidential Commission also faced opposition on the ground. Sources told CBS Sports Campbell's public push to pull conferences' media rights to help smaller leagues. And this is Cody Campbell, by the way, from a booster, I guess, of Texas Tech.
Oil guy in Texas. He's like the big booster for Texas Tech.
Wants to pull conferences' media rights to help smaller leagues facing financial trouble. Was of great concern to the Big Ten and SEC, the 2 richest conferences in the country. Shocker. Sources within those conferences believe Campbell's primary goal was to prop up Texas Tech, his alma mater, the Big 12, and smaller group of 5 schools at the expense of what the Big Ten and SEC are trying to accomplish. The 2 richest and most powerful conferences had zero desire to see any of their hard-earned money be redirected to the New Mexicos and UTEPs of the world just because it might benefit the system. Campbell criticized the 2 conferences' stranglehold on amateur athletics and their efforts in Washington, D.C., seeking legal protections that would mostly favor them and lead to smaller conferences crumbling under financial burden. The power conferences and the NCAA have spent millions on lobbying efforts in Capitol Hill over the last 4 years. The NCAA is broken, but handing the keys to a few fat cats is worse, Campbell wrote in March. America thrives on competition, not cozy cartels blessed by DC. I love it. Got somebody fighting for the little guy.
Okay, I tend to agree with him. I think we're seeing one of 2 things, Aaron, and go back and watch a couple of the shows over the past week that we have talked about. We saw a little bit of pushback on the CFP and future plans for the CFP.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen a little pushback here on, the presidential or the commission, and is there going to be a bill that goes through Congress? This is one of 2 things, because the straight seating was approved for the CFP for this coming year. So they are just the conference champions will still get an automatic berth into the playoff, but they will no longer get a bye. It will be the top 4 seeds that will get a bye, and then everybody else will be seeded accordingly, 5 through 12.
Which, if you saw the graphic, Cincinnati would have made the playoffs then in 2020 and 2021 if this had been in effect, and would have had a bye first round in 2021.
Yes. So nobody, even though there was some grumblings that the ACC, the Big 12, and the Group of 5 would stand up against this, since it was costing essentially 2 of those 3 teams are not going to get a bye that would have under the old format. And they fell in line. It was a unanimous vote, and it went through.
The Boise State rule.
We are either seeing, Aaron, speak now or forever hold your peace, or we are seeing we're not going to allow the SEC and the Big Ten to walk all over everybody and get whatever they want. And what we are going to find out probably within the next 6 months to a year is, which is it? Are they just putting their fists down, voicing their grievances? They're having their Festivus, and then they're going to fall in line and vote with the SEC and the Big Ten. Or they're actually going to take a stand and dare the Big Ten and the SEC to break off and try to go on their own. It's one of those two things. There's no middle ground here, I don't think, Aaron.
Well, I wonder if you can go back to this, and maybe this was part of this, is can you say we gave you the straight seating and use that as part of negotiations, right? Where you're like, well, we gave you this, and maybe you give them the
They don't care. They don't care that you gave them concessions. They want all of the concessions, Aaron. That's who the Big Ten and the SEC are.
I understand, but in negotiations, there has to be give and take. When you have the owners and the CBA getting together, or the owners and the Players Association in the NFL, NBA, there's give and take back and forth from both sides. I think at some point there's going to have to be, and maybe that's what the presidential committee ends up being, is some type of mediation between the asshole SEC and Big Ten and the rest of everybody else.
They're not negotiating. That's the thing, that they're not. They have what is going to make them negotiate? What is going to make them negotiate in good faith?
When everybody else threatens to walk away.
I think they're fine with that.
I think that I don't know that TV would be fine with that. I don't know that it would be the same. The sport would be forever damaged irreparably.
I think here's what they would do. They would say, okay, fine. We're going to go off and do our own thing. And we're going to take the 6 or 10 or whatever best that are left. We're going to bring them with us. And we're going to do a 20-24 team Big Ten and a 20-24 team SEC. And they're going to have the top 48 programs, 48 programs. And they're going to say, we're out. We're good. We're going to go do our own thing. If you're going to try to force us to do what we don't want to do. I don't think they have any intention. Maybe they can't do it. But my point is, I don't think they have any intention of negotiating fairly with anybody.
I don't know how that would work as far as in the new era, as you work towards player contracts or things of that nature. I don't know how that would work as you move toward TV deals and all that. I don't know that TV would be okay with it just being these now centralized regional schools that people just don't get. If you're not from Alabama, you don't care about. Like, it wouldn't be anywhere near what the NFL is. What the NFL, that's very different. So I don't know that the money
you have
if you add
go ahead.
I don't know. I want it all to stop. I want it all to go away. I know. You almost missed the money in the envelopes when that was the worst thing. The money in the duffel bags. And
I agree. I just looking at it, man. I do not see either of those leagues in good faith sitting down and trying to negotiate something that is good for the sport, because they don't care what's good for the sport. They care what's good for their pockets. That's all they care about. They've made that very clear. Very clear.
Well, then the players' unions can't come soon enough because take everything. Take all of it.
Yeah. I don't know where it's headed. I don't like it. And I don't see strong arming them working. I don't see stuff like this. I see that just pushing them farther along to fine. You want to do it without us? We'll take our ball and go home. Speaking of, we're going to take our ball and go home. It's a holiday weekend. Everybody have a great time. Get some burgers and dogs on the grill and have some fun with family. We'll be back in a couple days. That's the Nightcap, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!